Welcome back to the Mondiest of Thursdays on the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
No, it's all better now. It's Thursday, March 7th, and it is Camp Week on the Coffee Hour. Today we head to...
I'm so excited for this. We're going to Michigan.
And so you're showing everyone your
It's right
mitten,
about there-ish.
Your mitten.
Yeah.
No one can see the mitten. We're on radio. Dr. Craig Goldenberg, Camp Director at Camp Concordia in Michigan. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Glad to have you with us as part of Camp Week here on the Coffee Hour. How has Camp Concordia, and is it Gowan, is that right?
Gowan, yeah, we're
Gowan.
going to Gowan. Yeah.
Going to Gowan, Michigan. Camp Concordia in Gowan, Michigan. How has Camp Concordia made a difference for a camper, for anyone, really?
For anyone. Good. I'm glad you said that, because I had a 13-year-old boy I was going to talk about who went home and said, Mom, I've got to do something different with my life type thing. And I've got a story about a young lady who I just saw yesterday. She's an 8th grader, and she's like, now I want to work with kids. And I'm like, those are the cool stories, but I'm excited about a young adult. And her name's Becca. And I don't know if she'll be listening to this or not, but here's what she wrote to me one day, and I thought that was the best way to go. She said this: I was so excited to make an impact on kids' walk of faith, and in the end, I realized my faith was strengthened and challenged. Quite a difference when camp first started to when it ended. And she just goes on and on and on about how so this is the young adult side of camp that I think is just so important for me anyway, because I see so many young adults kind of going, what's the church worth to me? Who is this Jesus? And so here's a young lady who's like, yeah, this solidified it. This is it. This made it happen. So that's one way that I see all camps, at least in my LCMS circle, but in our case, Camp Concordia. We opened that door. She stepped through it, and it's made a big difference for her life.
Thanks be to God for that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a theme across the board for camp that it seems to make a big difference in the lives of the kids that get to go there in the summer? Yeah.
Well, the kids, most parents, I think, probably see camp as the big word, fun. And it's a great place for our kids to go in the summer, and it's healthy. It's got a good structure, but I think that it's just so much deeper than that because of the things that happen around the campfire and the sustain. It's day camp and regular camp and overnight camp are light years apart. Day camp doesn't have the effect that overnight camp does. Overnight camp has a more sustaining impact in kids' lives, especially in their faith life. If they're surrounded by young adults like Becca here, who cares about sharing their faith with them. Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of opportunities are there for kids that go to Camp Concordia?
When you go to Camp Concordia, you're either going to be going into 1st through 10th grade. There's the different camps for all the different age groups. So lots of different activities, from the whole thing, zip lines to canoeing to swimming to all of those kinds of camp things. But maybe the variation here that we really look for is we kind of use a discipleship or small group model. And what it does is, for that kid who's like, I'm afraid to go to camp, I won't make friends. Well, they're in this small group, and that small group is nurtured all week long. And we have a young lady at my church who actually said, I want to sign up for camp, and I want to invite my 3 friends. But my 3 friends are the people I met at camp. And so every year these 4 young ladies have been going to camp together, and it's a sustainable friendship that's forever. So it's that tight discipleship group that helps make that happen. And then we have individual activities too, where we'll have staff that come with certain skills from wood burning to soccer or whatever, and we'll open those doors up for kids as well to get all kinds of experiences around those staff, and every experience is a faith-building opportunity too, because it's not like we just talk about Jesus during Bible study. It's who these staff are and who and the Jesus in them that they bring to the kids, you know.
For many kids, camp is maybe 1 or 2 weeks out of the year. And there's so many great things that happen in that week of camp, particularly as they hear the Word of God and they're encouraged and nurtured in that true faith. How does camp help parents and pastors and other church workers in this raising and nurturing of kids the other 50-something weeks, 50 to 51 weeks of the year?
Right. You know, I'm just thinking of the young lady I spoke with yesterday, where it was one of those, I'm going to say it brings a reality to who Jesus is in their life. That one time a year they come, they get connected in such a deep way, and it is a mountaintop experience that they take back with them. And, we used to worry that, if you have a mountaintop experience, you'll go back, and then you'll think the rest of church is it's not as much fun or it's not as good, but that's never true. These kids go back, and especially when they come with a friend, and they both go back having had that strong faith experience. So I know our board of directors has come to this point where it says, Camp Concordia is not the outcome. Camp Concordia is the support to the outcome of what the family wants their child to know as far as walking with Jesus Christ, what the church wants, what the pastor wants, what the Lutheran school wants,
Yeah. What should parents know as they're preparing to hopefully send their kids off to camp this summer?
Don't fear that they won't make friends. Don't fear that they will be homesick. Don't fear all those myths that are out there about camp, because the kid, most of the time, as probably everybody knows, it's the parents' fear that holds back everything. It's not the child that is. We say often it's not the child that's homesick; it's the parent that's homesick. Know that that there's a place. These staff that come to summer camp to work, they're committing themselves. They make very little money. They commit themselves to the faith growth of these kids, but at the same time, what I'd say that they should ask a lot of questions. It's good for them to ask questions about camp. We get a lot of questions. We get parents who want to visit. We get parents who are like, is there any way I can kind of look over your shoulder? And we're like, yep, you can look over our shoulder, because we have to make sure things are safe and secure and really up to what I have a 10-year-old daughter, and I think of sending her anywhere. I'm like, I want to know it's safe, and I want to know that they're going to talk about Christ, but it's not just we talk about Christ and now we behave in ways that are inappropriate. It's like, no, I want young ladies around my daughter, my 10-year-old daughter, who really love Jesus and really want my daughter to know Jesus. So ask those things.
How do we find out what's going on at camp? How do we register for camp, get all those details, that sort of thing?
For Camp Concordia, you go on a website. You go on our website, campconcordia.org. Click on, boom, there's the camps right in front of your face. You click on, and it says online registration. You click on that, and boom, you're on your way. And all the camps right now, is, to the best of my knowledge, we're all using online registration now, which is very user-friendly. We've come so far from 10 years ago, and it's simple stepping through. We don't even do paper registrations anymore.
So we no longer have to fill out those forms and send them via courier to
That's
the
right.
middle of the woods.
And you don't have to fill out the health form every year with all that information, because it's all stored online.
So just update it when needed.
Yep.
campconcordia.org. Now, you mentioned the young adults who are there to lead, guide, and care for children at camp this summer. Are you all set? Or you still need staff for this summer to add to that team of caring leadership?
We need 3 male staff, and we need 3 kitchen assistants, and looks like possibly 1 female cabin staff as well. And the thing that a lot of people don't know is they don't know that these are paid positions. I get that information all the time. These are paid positions. They're paid well. They're a real job for the real summer, and the experience that staff walk away with, of course, is just huge. So there's a crisis across the United States with male staff in both secular camps and Christian camps. Young men are not being encouraged or nudged to mentor young boys. That's across the board. And it takes pastors, DCEs, grandparents to all nudge is the word that's out there. The research that's out there.
Mm-hmm. To encourage young men to step into those roles of leadership and to be mentors and encouragers as well.
Yes, it's a crisis, actually. It really is. And I'm not just talking about for camps. I'm really talking about for the church as a whole.
Dr. Craig Oldenburg, Camp Director at Camp Concordia in Gowan, Michigan. You can find him at campconcordia.org to find out information to register for this summer and find out more about the camp. Maybe even make a little visit, learn more about camp if this is your family's first, sending off to camp. Sounds like they're ready to welcome those questions in a little preview as well. Thanks so much, Craig, for being our guest on the Coffee Hour during Camp Week.
Thank you very much.
I love Camp Week.
I know, I do too.
Tomorrow we head to Montana.
Yeah.
How exciting.
It'll be fun.
It's a great week on the Coffee Hour. And look, the phones even worked that time. That was great.
Right? I know.
I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
The Coffee Hour with Andy and Sarah is a production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit KFUO.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@KFUO.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.